Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. live English news edition. Here are the top stories. The Financial Application Center launched the training of the second promotion. More than 40 million cases reported worldwide due to COVID-19. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The Financial Application Center launched the second class training this morning. It is the promotion Abdul Qadir Wabiri Askar. It should be remembered that Abdul Qadir Wabiri Askar was the second Minister of Finance and former President of the National Assembly, a name that reflects the reconciliation of the virtue of a state service with a nobility of spirit. In partnership with the National Institute of Public Administration, the new promotion composed of 72 agents like the first one will benefit from the best professional practices and administrative and financial management methods necessary for the exercise of supervision, design of expertise and audit, as well as the application and execution of their own missions. In other words, the CAF makes it possible to provide training aimed at strengthening the capacities of public and private administration. With the novelty this year, this new promotion will benefit from general lessons, that is to say, common trunks over a period of 4 months and specialized lessons of 8 months. Once completed, these graduates will design, implement, monitor, and evaluate the economic and budgetary policies of our country, contributing effectively to the construction of national fabric. This day, let us recall that it brought together, in addition, the members of the government, the quota of the Ministry of Budget, and the first promotion of the Financial Application Center. Now, let's listen to the statement made by Abdelzakir Bourali, Director of Financial Application Center.
Le CAF a été créé par le décret numéro 2000.
The CAF was created by the Decree number 2018-337 of the President of the Republic on November 7, 2018. The missions assigned to the CAF are development and implementation of training programs for all categories of staff of the Ministry of Budget. Despite its year of existence, CAF was the first public training institution to develop and implement, during the year 2019-2020, a long-term diploma training. This is a source of pride for the Ministry of Budget. The second training session of the gratitude cycle, which starts in a few days, distinguished itself from the previous seasons on several aspects. The number of trainees last year was 42. This year they will be 72. The large number of trainees has led to the establishment of 3 groups of 24 trainers each. The minimum level required of trainees this year has been raised, as only agents with master's degree or a baccalaureate degree have been retained. As you know, the CAF, under an agreement between the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Budget, calls upon the permanent technical assistance of the INAP for the execution of these missions.
Let us follow this time the words of the Budget Minister, His Excellency Abdul Karim Aden Asher.
Nous inaugurons aujourd'hui la deuxième session du cycle supérieur du Centre de formation.
We are inaugurating today the second session of the Advanced Cycle, a training cycle created in December 2018 under the impetus of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, anxious to enhance and strengthen the capacities of public administration, a tool for social and economic development of our country. I am proud to point out that the CAF is an excellent example of cooperation with limited efforts with INAP, which not only hosted it but also provided assistance in various fields. Creating and maintaining a training center was a challenge, but today the CAF is now able to provide on-site all the necessary training programs for the agents belonging to the different administrations of the financial government sector, and also ensures the training of new recruits in the administration. The CAF's mission is to meet the needs of the Ministry of Budget, whose main mission is the management of public resources and expenditure, and which must have trained and qualified staff who are familiar with public finance regulations and procedures. Our center operates with the support of senior officials of our administration and professors from the University of Djibouti, identified and selected for their ability to conduct training.
Other actualities, the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud and his colleague, the Ministry of Interior, Mr. Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, made an inspection visit to the job test for trainers specializing in training in the field of driver's license and road safety. 38 candidates selected among 75 candidates participated in the knowledge exam. the highway code and road safety, as well as driving light vehicles and jury hearings. 20 candidates will be selected at the end of these tests, 6 of whom are among the first to become driving license inspectors, while the others are driving school teachers. This joint project between the Ministry of the Interior and the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training aims to bridge the gap in the accreditation of licensed inspectors and driving school teachers. The two ministers stressed the importance of organizing the road sector to improve road safety, and the two ministers are committed to working side by side to implement this project, which will be renewed if necessary. In an interview, the Minister of Interior, Mr. Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, said that the purpose of this event is to close examine the progress of the work on option. Let's listen to the Minister.
noo tababaraan dadkan
In turn, the Minister of Education, National Education, Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud said in his intervention on this occasion that this exam will take place today in 3 stages. As part of celebration of World Food Day, His Excellency the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awali, accompanied by officials of his ministerial department, visited the village of Tulul near Sagalu to visit a modern farm run by the Abazid family. Mr. Abazid Musa lived for many years in this region. His children established this modern farm in Dulul and started agricultural and pastoral activities, which have achieved encouraging results with a large production of milk and meat for cattle and goats. These results are due to the strengthening of the well drilling operation carried out by the Ministry of Agriculture within the framework of the Proderma project. The Ministry of Agriculture and the State Secretary for Decentralization, Mr. Hamidou Aramis, and the Prefect of Tadra Region, Mr. Hassan Dabale, and the Regional Council President participated in this inspection tour. The Agriculture Minister congratulated those responsible for this initiative who have produced this modern farm thanks to the drilling development carried out by the Ministry to develop hundreds of wells implemented at the national level. In his speech, the State Secretary for Decentralization, Mr. Hamidou Aramis, referred to the importance of the ministerial delegation's visit to the Abazid farm in order to take a close look at its products and production methods of agricultural projects. The Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Fishery, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awali, welcomed the establishment of the modern farm in the district of Dulul. Moving now into another actuality now.
This is where our business takes shape. I see a drilling operation that is being valued. I see a borehole where more and more in charge. We don't ask for routine maintenance full. We don't have any more problems. That was our long-term wish. With this model farm, the drilling is taken care of by this group, these private young people who wanted to start in this field. I see here that is a family that has 1 year in. Their parents were quietly nomadic breeders. They went to school, they were trained, they transported it into a modern farm. With fodder, grasses, and legumes, I think they come by giving this balanced mixed fodder. And today they managed to maintain not a local goat, but a mixed cross-breeding goat that gives milk. And we cross them with the local goat and therefore hybrid goats that give good milk in quantity and quality. I think it's an example for the region of Sigalo. For the region of Randa, it's an example to follow the drilling. We are the ones who start the trainment. But here I see a successful example. There is a model where everything is taken care of.
Still within the framework of World Food Day, after visiting the Sagalu Gubet fishing cooperatives and the pilot farm in Dulul, the Ministry of Agriculture participated in a planting session in Tadjour City. welcomed by the Prefect Hassan Dabali and the President of the Council, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awali, and the delegation voluntarily rolled up their sleeves to plant trees to embellish the white city on the main road. The President of the Assembly, Mohammed Ali Mohammed, and the State Secretary for Decentralization, Hamad Aramis, participated in the session of tree planting with the Minister. These trees are intended to create shade, to fix the soil, in order to preserve the environment, and will change the physiognomy of the city. The experience will be renewed on all roads and green spaces of the white city. The minister said that the tree planting in Tajur, which is expanded with the port and the road of Tajur Balho, is part of the diversification of activities in his department for World Food Day after the visit of Fishing Cooperative of Agropastoral Activities. Now, the Ministry of Labor in charge of the administrative reform, Mr. Ismail Ibrahim Roble, received an audience today. A delegation of the American Command of Camp Lemonnier, composed of the base commander, Captain Kyle Scoman, the public relations officer, Lieutenant Randall Oates, and the senior counsel of Camp Lemonnier, Mrs. Angela Brongans, in the presence of the executive and officials of the Ministry of Labor. This meeting is part of the establishment of a system of cooperation between the Ministry of Labor in charge of the reform and the authorities of Camp Lemonnier. During this meeting, the minister, who first welcomed the American delegation, then congratulated the exemplary work of the military authorities of Camp Lemonnier for maintaining during the period of confinement the salaries for all the employees of the Camp Lemonnier. He also clearly expressed his wish to increase and promote exchanges in the areas of work, employment, and training. Camp Lemonnier Senior Counsel Mrs. Angela welcomed this framework of cooperation with the Ministry of Labor and encouraged a similar initiative that facilitates a synergy of action, a common understanding of priorities, and increased cooperation between the two parties. At the end of the meeting, it was agreed to continue meetings of this type for a better coordination of exchanges. Now, the State Secretary for Youth and Sport, His Excellency Hassan Mohamed Kamel, received this morning the Ambassador of Morocco to Djibouti, Mubarak Hadawi. During this meeting, the two men discussed the various points on which cooperation and exchanges will be made. Regarding the youth, exchanges of experience and knowledge on the promotion of the life of young people will be born very soon. On the sports side, training and exchanges between sportsmen and coaches will be subject of the cooperation. Another actuality, the Commission on Legislation, General Administration and Human Rights, led by its president, the Honorable Khartoum Farah Saeed, made today the analysis of a draft law on freedom to the communication and ethics of information. The meeting was attended by deputies, both members and non-members of the Commission, Ministry of Communication, in charge of Post and Telecommunication, Mr. Ramadan Abdullahi Bahdan, and personalities who came to express their expert opinion on the bill. Following the discussion, the Legislation Commission approved the transmission in public session. The Minister of Health yesterday kicked off the National Information Awareness and Screening campaign as part of the Pink October, the fight against breast cancer. Organized around the slogan, an early and regular screening scan, save your life. Awareness and screening promotion activities will take place from 18 to 28th October 2020 at the Hussein Center and in various health structures. The Health Ministry recalls that breast cancer remains a global health scourge that affects 1 man out of 8 and is a real tragedy for women who represent the central vault of households and society. As our country is not spared, the Health Ministry urged all women over 45 years of age to be screened by mammography every 2 years. In her speech, the director of the Hussein Center, Mrs. Mako Mohammed Ali, recalled the new orientation, the promotion of breast cancer screening. There was this afternoon a playad of personalities who came to attend the last soccer championship match in the region of Tajura, including the State Secretary for Youth and Sport, Mr. Hassan Mohamed Kamel, the Prefect Hassan Dabale, the technical advisor to the Mr. Hassan Hussein, Inspector Musa Ali, the Director of the Region, Mr. Omar Hassan Abdullahi, and the Director of Sports, Mr. Abshir Hassan. The President of the FDF, Mr. Suleiman Hassan Wabari, was accompanied by a strong delegation composed of the President to the regional leagues and Vice President of the Federation, Mr. Rufa Mohammed, the Director of Training, Mr. Umar Mahfoud, the Financial Director, Mr. Ali Hared, and the Head of his Department of Competition of the FDF, Yaqub Ali. The grandstand of the White City Stadium was filled with people for the occasion. At 4 p.m., the State Secretary, the Prefect, and the President of the FDF kicked off the final, which pitted the team of Harak against that of Elamo. The match ended with the victory of Elamo by 2-0, and thus this young formation, which has distinguished itself during this championship, received the trophy of champion from the hands of the State Secretary for Young and Sports, the Prefect, and the President of the FDF. The success of this championship is due to the leaders of the Regional Soccer League of Tadra, and in particular to its president, Mr. Said, whose action have enabled the region to regain the fervor of soccer in recent years. It is with deep sadness that we have just learned of the death of Mr. Hassan Sheikh Gil Farah, who died last night in the Section 7 at the age of 66 years old. He left behind him a widow, 6 boys and 6 girls, and 18 grandchildren. May Allah, the most merciful, welcome the deceased Hassan Sheikh in his eternal paradise. Ameen. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Moving on to international news, the number of coronavirus infections exceeded 40 million worldwide on Monday. The details in this video with Dina Musa.
The number of coronavirus infections exceeded 40 million worldwide on Monday. According to the experts, the actual number is probably much higher, as the tests are not 100% reliable. Moreover, not all cases are necessarily reported in some countries. The latest data suggests that the spread of the pandemic continues to accelerate as winter approaches in the northern hemisphere. It took only 32 days to increase from 30 to 40 million cases compared to 38 days for 20 to 30 million cases. Between 10 and 20 million, it took 44 days, and the 10 million were reached within 3 months of the onset of the disease.
This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Dear viewers, thank you for watching us and have a wonderful evening.